This is Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, and I'm a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm also a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams. I'm a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today we are talking about whether it's possible for something to be too easy. Hey Janine.
Hey Shannon, how are you today?
I'm great. How are you doing?
I'm good too.
I have to say, I'm still laughing about last week's story.
About me eating dog food accidentally?
Yes. I can't believe you swallowed it.
Spitting it out, yuck. Well, I couldn't decide. Do I spit in the sink? Do I spit in the trash? So I just swallowed it.
Yeah, might as well let it be easy.
That's right. See? It's a lot easier.
But maybe it was too easy and you shouldn't have swallowed.
Well, it's been 24 hours and there have been no negative repercussions.
Oh,
and there have been plenty of positive repercussions because I've gotten so many belly laughs out of it.
Well, I'm glad that you were willing to share it with all of us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it was my absolute pleasure to share it.
Okay, well, so today we are talking about whether or not it's possible for something to be too easy.
Yeah, it's an interesting idea to me because I'm all about easy.
Right.
But I think there might be cases where too easy isn't as beneficial.
Yeah, because I think actually you came up with this topic when we were talking about my genealogy work when I, was like just happily clicking around on things on Ancestry and in my Family Tree Maker, my software program, and I got all of this great information that I hadn't really validated. And
right.
Yeah,
you hadn't analyzed it at all. And with Family Tree Maker, you're able to just download a document from Ancestry and it will put it in your tree for you. Yeah, and it's super easy and it's super fun, but it's not very valuable if you haven't validated it or analyzed it. Right. Or even if it were all valid. Let's say you use a level of discernment to know that everything that you downloaded was valid. Unless you actually analyze it, you're not going to be able to get as much out of it. Right. You need to get
right. You could be sitting on a gold mine.
Yeah.
That you would have no idea, and you probably aren't likely to go back and look at things again.
Correct. Yeah, it's true. So I think that's a case where it's possible for genealogy to be so easy that you don't actually get as much out of it as you would if you were taking it, making it a little bit harder. And many genealogists are people of age, and and a lot of them were doing genealogy before the internet or before internet genealogy, and they worked hard, doing everything in person, going to courthouses, and now we considered our desks and to get the same stuff without working as hard, but we can still apply some rigor to it as desktop genealogists and get a lot out of it. So it doesn't have to be hard, is my point. It's just
right.
There is a certain amount of rigor, I think, that is a good idea if you're going to, at least with genealogy, if you're going to have a lasting hobby where it's built on a strong foundation.
Right. Well, and I think maybe that's the big clue there is whether or not something is too easy. Is it contributing to a strong foundation?
Mm-hmm. Right. And sometimes things that are really easy are the things that aren't as beneficial. I'm just thinking about food, like convenience food, or
Right.
it's a lot harder to make. I'm trying to think of a quick example of something that you make from scratch versus a box that's better for you. Like most things, I guess. Most things you make from scratch are better for you. I don't make anything, so I'm having trouble with this.
Well, you make chili, and I think
that comes
your
in a
homemade
can.
chili is better than chili in a can.
Yeah, and also my sloppy joes. Have you ever had my sloppy joes?
I have had your sloppy joes.
Yeah, they're pretty good, huh?
They're really good.
Yeah, and they're well, I was going to say completely from scratch, but they have. No, I mean, I didn't make. There's ketchup in it, so I didn't make.
You didn't make the ketchup.
Yeah, or the Worcestershire sauce, right? Yeah, yeah. So with the genealogy, it's so interesting because most beginning genealogists, make the mistake of not writing down their sources, and that's just a really easy mistake to make, and it almost always means people have to start over. But with Ancestry, with these sources that actually have source citations attached to them, it's a different kind of easy. I mean, it's
Right.
At first glance, it seems like you're doing everything just as good as you can, but in fact, not.
Well, and I have been having some, I'm doing big finger quotes, discussions with cousins of my, they're like third and fourth cousins on Ancestry who there's this major error in my Wilkinson family line on multiple trees that people just keep copying over and over and over again. And I point out these two people lived in Philadelphia, and we know that this person was born in South Carolina. Why do you think they're his parents?
Pretty good chance they didn't have the baby and take a vacation in South Carolina to have a baby.
Right.
Yeah, from Philadelphia.
Yeah, in 1815.
Right. Yeah. And are people not receptive to that?
No, because there's no one knows who it is if it isn't these two people.
Oh.
And so they want something rather than nothing.
Right. Something wrong is better to them than nothing.
Right. Right. Yeah. But so it is interesting about how, that the easiness of, just sort of being able to click your way to a family tree can cause problems. Mm-hmm. And I know with other things that I come up against this where I like to do things that feel like they're doable but are still a challenge.
Mm-hmm. If it's no challenge at all, you don't want to do it.
Right.
Yeah, can you give me an example of something like that?
Well, actually, something we talked about recently when I was saying, I want to be mountain climbing, but I can't. And, when I could be walking up Mount Tabor, but that's not as interesting. But, and that's the thing, like, well, I know I can walk up Mount Tabor and it's not challenging. And so I don't really want to do it.
Mm-hmm. I get that. I feel that way about like a 5K race. I mean, excuse me, just to be clear, a 5K walking race. I can't run 3 miles. but walking 3 miles is no big deal to me.
Right.
In a race, in a race format.
Right.
So I think, why do people bother with a 5K walk? But I shouldn't have even said that because there's no way I made it sound like I could run 3 miles and I can't.
Well,
I can
no, but
only
walk.
run to the corner. Right. Right. Yeah. So I imagine, well, in my life, the thing that I don't, I'm having trouble coming up with examples in my life. I wonder if it's because I like things to be easy so much. But when I knit, sometimes I knit things that are harder, and sometimes I knit things that are easy. And sometimes the easy things are so boring that they're agonizing. Actually, a couple of years ago I knit a few, or maybe just 2 pussy hats for the Women's March. And
right.
that knitting was so boring that I had a hard time doing it. I only made 2 hats. I thought I'd make a lot of them. But, yeah. But if the yarn's nice and the needles are nice, then easy knitting while watching something complicated is good.
Well, so I guess that sort of provides the challenge is being able to knit and pay attention to the TV show you're watching.
Right. That's right. It's
like equation. That's the challenge.
Right. And
it's not just the knitting itself.
Yeah. All right. There you go. And if it's a dialogue-heavy TV show, then unless I do some very, very simple knitting, it's too much of a challenge.
Right.
But if it's no, wait, I got that wrong. If it's a dialogue-heavy knitting TV show, then I can knit hard things because I don't have to look at the TV.
Oh, right.
It's when it's action TV show where you have to actually look at it that it becomes harder. Although I will say I was knitting while watching a basketball game the other night, and watching the basketball game carefully. And
were you knitting something easy?
I was knitting something easy, so that worked out really well.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I was knitting something made out of yarn spun from alpacas that I bought in Walla Walla. I think I talked about this before.
Right.
This yarn. The names of the alpacas are on the yarn ball band, which makes it's so very cute. Nice yarn. Yeah, very nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So what just popped into my head was how this has shifted for me since I've dealt with concussions, and it's too challenging for me to do some things. Like I can listen to podcasts, and I can listen to talk radio, and I can listen to music that I'm familiar with when I'm driving, but I can't listen to music that I'm not familiar with.
Oh. It just engages your brain too much? Tries to engage your brain too much?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. I never listen to music I'm not familiar with, so that's not an issue. I haven't listened to new music since the 80s.
Well, that's when all the best music was invented.
I know. And on Spotify, I listened to like 70s and 80s radio.
I know. It makes me sad that that's like the oldies station here.
I know.
Plays 80s music.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. The exception for me is Hamilton, right? So right. But that feels old because I've listened to it so much.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So what is easy for you has changed with the concussion.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Definitely.
And is it harder for things to be too easy for you now?
Wait, I have to wrap my head around that. Is it harder for things to be too easy?
Yeah. Is that what you said? That is what I said. What I guess I meant. Previously, maybe more things were too easy than are now. Would be considered too easy. Things are harder now.
I think that's accurate. Yes.
Yeah.
If I'm understanding you.
And it totally did not deserve that much attention. It was a stupid question.
Yeah, but and it's interesting, and I think this is one of the things that I've sort of struggled with is because that has shifted for me, and I'm just actually sort of having this revelation as we're talking about this. I haven't sort of figured out where that sweet spot is of something feeling doable but still a challenge. Like everything feels or not everything, but things tend to feel too challenging, overwhelming, or too easy, and why bother?
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think it's just because I can't do things quite the way I was doing them before.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that runs, from physical things to mental, emotional, intellectual things as well.
That's interesting. And in your case, I think it's dramatic because you did have a series of concussions. But I also think that for those of us who haven't had necessarily like big brain things, with aging, I'm noticing things like not being able to hang on to things in my head. And if I don't write it down, if I don't write it in a calendar, for example, I don't remember it. And this happened to me twice. It
doesn't exist.
This month. Exactly. Three times maybe this has happened to me this month where I didn't write it down. And luckily each time there was a confirmation from the person. Good. Yeah. So you're having to make these adjustments on a larger scale, I think.
Right. And I think that's why it's sort of on my mind, is because I haven't sort of figured out where this is now. And, also aging related and all of those things. And it was easy when I started doing physical things to find things that felt doable and were a challenge. I didn't run, and so I started running, and and I told the story about how I ran on the treadmill when no one was looking. that was like a challenge, and then I figured out I could do that, and then it just sort of went exponentially up. And I think part of it is I haven't been able to sort of nail down my physical limitations and abilities. Like, what am I really capable of? And it just feels so different from what I used to be able to do.
Right. And you've had a series of mishaps that have changed your physical abilities temporarily, I think. But, you hurt your ankle, you hurt your wrist. You're always doing something to get in the way of your figuring this out.
Yes. Yes, I just got x-rays on my leg today.
Oh, you did? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Because we still can't figure out what is wrong with my leg and why I have nerve damage.
This is the injury stemming from the very unfortunate falling asleep of the foot, right?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes. Don't ever try to stand up on your foot when it's asleep.
You could really hurt yourself.
Yeah. Because I did that in November.
Right. Here we are in February.
Yeah.
Yeah, after that happened to you, it didn't happen to me thanks to you, but I stood up, my foot was asleep, and luckily there was a chair nearby, and I dove for it because I knew how badly you were hurt by rolling your ankle because it was asleep. Yeah. So. Yeah,
I stood up on the side of my foot.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. Sort of absurd. But anyway, so that doesn't make it any easier.
Right.
But I'm still holding out hopes of making that long walk in Portugal at some point in the future.
Right. Yes, I hope you can do that. Absolutely. I'm still doing the yoga, and I started December 12th. Oh, so we're looking at 2 months now of daily yoga practice. And
wow.
Yeah, and it's gotten easier. But not too easy. But I did something to my back last week. I tweaked my lower back somehow, and which is very unusual for me. And I did not want to miss doing yoga, right? Because I had the streak going.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't want to hurt myself. So I went. I'm using yoga with Adrienne, and of course she has a video on yoga for lower back pain. So I did that, and I did it it was about 5 days before I felt strong enough to try something else. And it was interesting to watch it go from, mildly interesting, to watch it go from really kind of scary to, as my back healed, to easy. And now
interesting.
And I think that lower back one was great for what I needed just then, but it would feel too easy to do on a general, like on a regular basis, and to count,
Right.
But yeah, so
Well, that's such a great illustration of this concept.
Oh, good.
Because it and how it fluctuates due to circumstances and over time and everything, and because and I think you just sort of got to the nut of the issue. Is that the right word? I don't think so.
I'm not sure. Nugget? No. What is it? Heart
of the issue. Jeez.
I like nugget of the issue.
But the idea of you said for it to count, it felt too easy for it to count.
Yeah.
And I think that's what it is, like that it you want it to count, and if it feels too easy and then it doesn't count, and that's the problem.
Right. Maybe it's like electronic greeting cards. Like when someone, I hate to say this, but when I receive it, like an e-card from Hallmark or whatever, I'm thinking, why bother?
Yeah.
It's like it's.
I don't generally open them.
Oh,
because I always like think it's gonna be a virus or something.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true. But it's not. It is a little effort, but is it enough to make? Was it too easy for it to count? I don't know. Or I was thinking gift cards. Like for certain gift exchanges, some people would find a gift card isn't enough effort having gone into it for it to feel valuable enough. But that's a little different, I think. I used to not believe in wedding registries because it didn't seem right to just give them what they want. I've come around. To the point where when we got married,
give you what I want, whether you like it or not.
That's right. 29 years ago when I got married, we didn't do a registry. I mean, it wasn't as prevalent, but it was certainly prevalent. But I just thought, I'm not going to tell people what to buy me. So I got some stuff. I got some great stuff, but
yeah, I didn't want to have a registry when we got married because I didn't want people to give us presents.
Right. I think I complied with it.
Yes, you did. Thank you.
I meant to get you a present, but I don't think I ever did.
You came to the wedding. That was the present.
Well, thank you.
But that's all we wanted, and so. Yeah, I mean, we ended up doing one because people were like, well, I'm going to buy you something. You might as well say what you want.
Right.
I was okay. Please don't. We don't need more stuff.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting some really wonderful presents.
Yeah, I bet you did. When I got married, it wasn't that. We wanted presents. We just didn't want to provide any guidance. Right. Because that somehow seemed wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but it is just interesting to think about this whole thing. And as we're talking about this, I'm realizing like one of the things I do with my clients a lot is help them come up with, as we've talked about on previous episodes, the smallest next step. Like what's the thing that they can do that will get them headed in that direction that feels doable, and it usually, or I shouldn't say usually, it will often seem ridiculously easy, but in that context, that's what you need to get started. Mm-hmm. You need the first step to feel ridiculously easy to help you get the momentum to do the rest of it, which had felt overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. But once you get going in whatever this is, then that first step perhaps is not enough.
Yeah.
I mean, if
it's right. It's finding.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's finding that place where it feels ridiculously easy, but it counts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I suppose the same could be said with the genealogy stuff. If you're just starting out and you need to get the bug of finding things and downloading them or whatever. That gets you going, and then perhaps you become more rigorous in your analysis and so forth. Do you like how I get like, I don't know, what are the words? Serious words when I talk about genealogy.
You're very serious about it. I know. You said before you don't even think of it as a hobby anymore.
Right.
That's how serious you are about it.
Yeah, it's part of, it's not a business, but it's part of my life, It's not just a hobby. Yeah.
Yeah. Genealogy is far too important to take seriously, Janine.
Very good.
Yeah. But I think it is useful to think about this, and if something may not feel appealing because it feels too easy, or you could be creating more work down the road by doing something the easy way. Mm-hmm. And so finding that spot where it's easy enough to be doable and is if it needs to be in the context, useful over time.
Mm-hmm. That's a good message.
Oh. Anything else to say about easy?
No. Well, I just want to say that even though we were discussing that it's possible perhaps for something to be too easy, I'm still guided by the principle of let it be easy.
Yes.
Easy is good in general.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that for most people who struggle with perfectionism, letting it be easy is going to be the key. Mm-hmm. I think it's only in some particular instances where there's any potential for it to be a bit problematic, or not even problematic, but sort of the thing that's preventing you from doing what you really want to be doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm just glad I got to work my yoga practice into the conversation. It's been a couple of weeks since I mentioned it.
Because I think that at some point you sort of threw down the gauntlet that you were going to try and talk about yoga in every episode.
Yeah. And then I thought that was overdoing it. Perhaps. People might get weary of that because it's, it's not like, for me, it's a huge achievement to do it every day, and I'm really enjoying it, which is huge, but it's not that interesting to other people, probably.
What do you mean? I love hearing people talk about things they love.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, good. I'll remember that. Okay, we're back to every episode.
That's right. Well, with that, we would love to hear from you. Are there things that you have found a problem in it being too easy? Is that even possible in your world? Let us know, and you can leave us a voicemail at 413-424-GTGE. That's 4843. You can also leave a comment on the show notes at gettingtogoodenough.com, where you will also find links to our social media profiles. We would also love it if you would share this podcast with a friend, and that helps people find us, and that is great for everyone. So for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. I think that was the right amount of easy.
Yes. Good. It's the sweet spot.
Yeah.